welcome again. We are doing the analysis of KCSE English Paper 3. We began with the question 1. We looked at question 1, how to write an imaginative composition. Now today I want us to look at question 2, which is an essay. How do you write an essay? My name is Edwin Nyongesa. If you like this content and you want to support us, you can hit the subscription button. You can also like, share, and comment. Now let's look at how you can write an essay for paper 3. Remember, there are 2 essays that you're supposed to write. So question 1 is always an imaginative composition or an expository kind of writing or a discursive kind of writing. That is question 1A or B. And then question 2, you are going to write an essay, a compulsory essay from a compulsory set text. For the year 2024, you are going to do an essay from The Samaritan by John Lara. So you have to prepare to write an essay from The Samaritan, which is our compulsory play. Then question 3, there are 3 options. Question 3A, an essay from My Silent Song and Other Stories. Question 3B, that is an artist of the floating world, Kazuo Ishiguro. And then of course question 3C, that is Parliament of Alls. So depending with the book that you have prepared on or from your school, the book that you have prepared on, you will choose one and write your essay. So how do you write a successful essay? Remember, traditionally, writing of an essay was based on themes and major styles. However, there's been a recent shift in KCSE. There's been a recent shift to evil, to morals, and why evil should be punished, and so on. So how should, remember, an essay will give you 20 marks, and so how should your essay look like? And the first paragraph, the very first paragraph of your essay is what we call the introduction. Introduction, you are simply breaking down the question for the essentials of that particular question. You are simply trying to tell the examiner that this is what I'm going to address. And remember, there are various types of introduction. You can have what you call specific or contextual. Specific or contextual in the sense that you relate events in the question to events within the book or within the text. You do not go beyond the book for your introduction or for your answer. So again, we call that a specific kind of introduction. You can have general introduction. General introduction is where you relate events in the book to really real life situation, maybe within the context of the society or the continent for that matter. So again, that is called general introduction. But the most common kind of introduction is combined general and specific, where you begin from a general perspective, then you narrow down to a specific perspective. You begin from real society issues, and then you narrow down to events within the book relevant to the question, and so on. So we call that combined general and specific introduction, and it's the commonest kind of introduction. And then of course you can also do a paraphrase. You can paraphrase the question. Now remember, an introduction is valid when you do not define terminologies. You don't repeat words in the question paper in your introduction. We call it a valid introduction. It's awarded a total of 2 marks introduction as either full or thin. So again, you should always endeavor to get that is full for the introduction. Apart from the introduction, we have 4 other paragraphs. Remember, the first paragraph is called an introduction, and then we'll have the content or the body, which of course is what you are going to address. It is contained in 4 paragraphs. Every paragraph should be full-fledged. That is, it should fetch you 3 marks, full marks. So for every paragraph, we have the first sentence of every paragraph. We call it a topic sentence or a topical sentence. And so a topic sentence is not a title. It looks like a title because it is what the paragraph is going to talk about. But again, it is a sentence, so it should be treated as a sentence. Remember, in this question, in essay writing, we do not encourage use of subtitles. When you write your introduction, we know the first paragraph. The examiner will know the first paragraph is automatically the introduction. So again, you don't have to include subtitles there. So we are seeing the first sentence, let it be a clincher sentence, and it means this is what you are going to discuss in your paragraph. And then make sure that you give more information. A content paragraph needs all the relevant information. Give all the information required, all the finer details, the where, the when, the what. Ensure you respond to those valid questions so that we need to see the background coming out very clearly. We need to see you addressing two ends of the question. When you read a question, there are normally two ends that you need to address, and so you should focus on that. Ensure that you give all the required information. There is no rumor mongering on this paper. Ensure that you read the text well. Ensure that you get the nitty-gritties of the paper. Ensure that you get the finer details. I mean, not of the paper, but of the book, of the text, so that you can respond to these questions well. And then after you have written now your paragraph, we have the concluding sentence in every paragraph. It's called a clincher. A clincher simply sums up thoughts in your paragraph. Each paragraph should have clear illustrations from the set book, and ensure that you are not narrating your point. Do not narrate. Do not say there was a school called Sagrada Secondary School where two students, that is Montano and Alvita, invent an app called the Samaritan. This app attracts negativity from leadership of Maracas municipality. Do not narrate. Point out issues in present continuous tense. So you should not narrate, you should point out those issues. So that will be a full-fledged paragraph. So how do they treat paragraphs? A paragraph can be full when you have given all the information. So full means you score 3 marks. That means you have given all the information. You have not left out any information. You have not left out any information. You have given all the information required for the essentials of that particular question. So a paragraph is said to be full when you get 3 marks. A paragraph can also be said to be fair when you have given most of the information, but you have left some crucial information out. We call it fair. A number of students actually fall here. Few students fall under full. And then you have what you call thin. Thin means you have simply pointed out some issues. You have mentioned, mere mentions. You beat around the bush. You just mentioned some points, but you are beating around the bush. So you score a thin. A majority of students fall here, unfortunately. I hope by the end of the session, you will have moved to fair and full. And then also you can have what you call textual error. Textual error will arise from wrong character names, wrong episodic mentions, and all that. We call that textual error. When you believe there's a character called Mosesi in the Samaritan instead of Mosi, for example, it can lead to mischaracterization, and that is textual error. And then you can also have a UPTD. UPTD means unpointed. You are giving relevant you are giving information that might be part of the text, but it's not part of the marking essentials. We call that unpointed, and so on. So please ensure that your paragraphs are full-fledged. Ensure that you give information. If you are talking about graft in Maracas municipality, point out graft. If you are talking about how Nicole is the voice of reason in the Samaritan, you bring out evidence, illustrations, background, where, when of the book in your essay writing. So ensure that you have read the books, the set text very well, so that you are able to point out these issues when you are told to raise them in an examination. And then so if you score 3, that means 3 times 4. Remember, there are 4 content paragraphs, so 3 times 4, you get to a 12 in the body. You're also going to have language and presentation. Language and presentation is pegged on the content, so that in the content, when you score 1 to 4, you have 1 in language. When you score 5 to 6, you have 2 in your language and presentation. When you score 7 to 8, you have 3 in your presentation, in your language and presentation. When you score 9 to 12, you have that is 4 out of 4 in language and presentation. And then the last paragraph in your essay is called a conclusion. A conclusion, you are simply bringing your thinking to the end, and basically you are just saying that you are doing a recap or a paraphrase of what you have been discussing. You can highlight what you've been discussing. You can give a proverb that will summarize what you've been discussing, and content can be valid when you conclude well and you score 2. It's also pegged on the content marks. When you score 0, 1 to 0, 5, you get 1 in the conclusion. When you score 6 to 12 in the body, then you are going to score 2 in your conclusion. So if you do that, you read the book well, you are going to score very well in this particular essay question. Now remember, the rules for question 2 are applicable in question 3 because you're just writing another essay. Remember, in question 3 you could be asked a question from when that is a silent song and other stories. You could also be asked a question from Parliament of Walls. Could also be asked another question from an artist of the floating world. So depending with the book that you have prepared on well, you can respond to these essay questions, which are very crucial, by the way, in your journey towards realizing an A in English. An A in English does not just happen. You really have to work on that journey, which of course includes reading the set books, understanding the underpinnings in all the set books, and also being able to reproduce the same in an examination setup. So again, that's how you write an essay. Remember, if you like this content and you want to support us, please hit the subscription button. You can also like, share, and comment. It will help the content to reach more people, and it means our channel will also grow. Next time, we'll be looking at a sample essay question from across the various books, and we'll also analyze them together. And until next time, it is goodbye.